going long? Oh, there you go. All right, we're in Husky Huddle.
Hello and welcome to Husky Huddle. That's not my show; it's Dave Schuman's show, but I said it anyway. Hi, Coach Schuman.
You like to do the intro. You could do it.
Yes. The man, the myth, the legend himself, who's leading a team of 9-year-olds to the playoffs in New Jersey. They're going to go on a run.
Oh, New Jersey! I know it's Jersey. Jeez.
Coach David Schuman, former UConn alum, and we have a very special guest. All he does is teach, train, and beat ass. And he was also the defensive MVP of the Motor City Bowl, the first bowl that UConn football ever attended. His name is Tyler King. And he was also a multiple-time champion in MMA in several promotions. Quite the resume.
And the host of MMA, the MMA Report.
He is the host of the MMA Report, which is quite popular on the radio and on all the streaming platforms.
Steve, we are an enigma out there, I swear.
Well, you have the youngest demographic that in Worcester on Ernie's station. Ernie's station gets a lot of older viewers. You're the only one who gets the 18 to 24-year-old listeners.
Oh, so, that's the money demographic. So
no, it's more the 18 to 34, but he has no younger listenership.
So again, I brought through the money, the money demographic. So you're welcome.
Correct. Well, it's not me, but it's him. But yes, he's been very happy with the show. You just have to watch the swearing because
fair. That's right. I did a better job last week.
You can swear on this show. You just can't swear on that one.
Oh hell yeah!
Because they edit it out.
Yeah.
Ernie has to edit it out, and he doesn't like doing that as much. And then Dave, you got Shane later today, right?
Yeah, 12:30.
Yeah, I got
in
Shane.
Stafford, yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
Oh, I definitely.
I got Tyler. Do you have any contact with John McEntee?
Who?
Okay, he doesn't even know who he is.
Exactly.
All right. I don't know if I'm getting scammed or not. I gotta find out.
You're probably getting scammed, Steve.
I gotta find out if I'm getting scammed.
I'm certain you're getting scammed.
Well, I don't know what this card is, and he won't give it to me. He said you have to see my card and pay my fee.
Yeah, it's a scam.
Okay. Well,
that's definitely a scam.
It wouldn't be the first time. Well, we're here to talk about the Yukon Huskies football. They need as much coverage as they can get, and we provide the best coverage, unlike some other shows that are out there. We are the best of the best. We have all played for UConn. We know them inside and out. Listen to us and not the pretenders. And that is a message directly to UConn and their administrators. What do you think of that, Dave?
Wow, go after them. Going after
Powerful.
The haters.
Powerful. Anyone who listens to the Locked On UConn podcast, you're a traitor. Don't listen to Locked On. Don't listen to Locked On. Listen to Husky Huddle and Husky Talk. We're the only true coverage of UConn football with the best guests around, like Motor City Bowl MVP Tyler King, who came back from a devastating ankle injury that required, it was a compound fracture, and he rehabbed his way back just to play in the Motor City Bowl.
Steve, did you
No, I didn't take anything this morning, just if you're going to ask.
No, well, I was going to ask about your Instagram message.
What Instagram message?
Yes, you had an Instagram message today that it came from your TikTok. I don't know. It went.
Yeah. I was singing.
I saw that one.
Oh, that was legit. That wasn't
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, everyone, nobody liked it. I thought I did a good job.
I thought you were drunk or something.
No, I was singing a little Lionel Richie.
Well, Steve, why are you on TikTok? Are you a communist?
No, I just wanted to sing Lionel Richie.
Okay.
You know, alone.
Testing? Were you testing?
Let's in the comments shout out to Greg Smoot.
You inside my mind. Yeah, I was singing. That's all.
That's lovely. Look at the comments. Want to give a shout out to
Greg
our
Smoot.
good friend Greg Smoot.
Greg Smoot, yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, I am very explosive, Greg. I appreciate you.
Dave, Greg Smoot is not, you will not find a bigger fan of our shows than Greg Smoot. He was a teammate of mine.
I'm not friends with him on Facebook.
Well,
how are you not friends with him on Facebook?
I am now. I wasn't.
I am in his profile picture. You should have already accepted that.
Well, we are friends now. I didn't. He requested me like the other day.
Okay, good. Yeah, because he's the best. He's the best. We came in together as freshmen, and Greg actually was a 4-year starter. He started from a freshman. Yeah.
Greg was the real deal.
He was a beast, man. He was a beast. He knocked my head in a few times, and then
we all did that, Steve.
No, they didn't, Tyler. Hakeem was gonna. Yeah, I know. Did I tell you the story, Dave? I did tell you the story. I had a broken wrist. Okay, a broken wrist.
Story like 8 times, Steve.
My freshman year, my hand was in a club. They put the cast on and wrapped my arm in a club.
Sure.
Tyler King was redshirting that year. I was a sophomore. He was a redshirt freshman. And
I was a true freshman. You were a sophomore.
Whatever. He's coming. He's on the scout team. And he's pass rushing like it's Super Bowl 30. And I got a club. And finally, I just took him and I threw him down. And he rolled on top of me. And I started whacking him in his helmet with my club.
Did a lot good.
I just wanted him to take it easy on me. And he wouldn't do it.
Every practice.
Steve, I don't think I've ever taken anything easy in my life.
Yeah, every practice is Super Bowl 30. I tell you a funny story where I realized this because originally I was a fullback, and my true freshman year, which was I redshirted, we had a linebacker who was there on the captain's day. I'm sure, Doug Harkins, who's now a police officer. He might be retired now, but he was a police officer in New Haven. But Doug Harkins was a great linebacker. Like, he was just an animal, you know. He never, ever took any plays off practice. Everything was beyond the whistle. Okay.
That's Tyler. That's how Tyler is.
We do like, you know how the running backs do like one-on-ones with the linebackers, you know?
Yeah.
So we're doing one-on-ones, pass route one-on-ones, and I shake them, I make a move, I shake them. I catch the ball cleanly. I go up the field about 10 to 15 yards. Whistle's blown, okay? Like, blown. I turn around and whack. I mean, he laid me out. And he said, anytime you're on the field, you better not stop running. I'm going to hit you. So I learned a lesson from that. I said, from now on, either go out of bounds.
Right. You learn fast.
Completely to the end zone if I get out there. So I learned that quick. From that point forward, I never went anything less than 1,000% the whole entire time. So,
dude, that's how Tyler played. Tyler played 1,000,000% right to the whistle on everything, and even with me with a broken wrist. I couldn't get a break. I just wanted.
What do you want a break for? There's no
I just wanted it. I got a broken wrist.
You had to play. You had to play. You had to play, and I wanted to play. I was like bitter about being redshirted.
I know you were because you had prepped at Avon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you did a prep at Avon Old Farms and then redshirting. So I understand that. I do understand that. That's frustrating.
So you were you like a year older already?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so you were like, I'm ready to go. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tyler graduated at like 26. He stayed. He prepped the year and then he redshirted.
No, I was 24. I was 24, 20.
Tyler. I'm being facetious. But no, he did. And listen, it helped him. If I had gotten an extra year, I probably would have gotten drafted or had a free agent tryout.
Relax.
I would have. I absolutely would have. I played in NFL Europe just like you did.
Not just like I did. I was the first overall draft pick.
You were the first overall draft pick, really?
And yeah, I was the first overall draft pick in the allocation draft. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I was last, so yeah, you got that on me. I did not know that.
Well, why did the European League? Why did it fold? Shane, I think Shane played there too.
Shane did too. Yes.
Long story short, Dave. It wasn't really generating. Well, first of all, the league was just hemorrhaging money, and the NFL was really
it was not hemorrhaging money.
It was hemorraging money.
It was a drip in the bucket.
Steve, I'm talking. It was hemorraging money, and then what the NFL did, they look at the cost of it, and they realized they tried to expand the game globally. They felt like they weren't getting that kind of coverage the way they wanted to with the European League, so they changed over to this European series they do now. They're doing the game in London, doing the game in Berlin. Like, they feel like they get a better fan response doing that.
Right, because it's like actually the NFL players. So they
exactly.
He is almost accurate. I don't believe it was hemorrhaging money. It literally cost $1 million per team to fund the league. So $30 million is a drop.
I mean, I don't know if it was hemorraging money, but the other thing was the operations. It was just kind of a cluster F with the operations, just because you had a bunch of Europeans that didn't know what the F they were doing. And then you had a bunch of ops people from the USA that want things done a certain way. And you see some people clashing, not like in a nasty fashion, but you could see you could kind of see them running into each other without making a lot of progress in certain areas.
Like almost like cultural clashes between the United
States.
Well, I mean, there were only 7 true European players on each team.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was the league. The purpose of the league that ended up being good. It was giving minority fellowship coaches opportunities.
That too. That as well.
So a lot of minorities got a chance to get experience coaching. A lot of guys on their way out, like Jack Bicknell was a head coach. Jack Bicknell was a head coach at Boston College for a while. Yep. My head coach was Peter Voss. Peter Voss was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. He left the Cologne to go to Notre Dame. Okay. Tyler's head coach was Dave Duggan. Dave Duggan was the defensive coordinator at Colgate. So, I mean, it gave coaches some opportunities.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
The quarterbacks definitely benefited most because
I'll tell you what. The one thing I'll say about that is I was on 3 of the teams on the Ron Fire, Frankfurt Galaxy, and then the Cologne Centurions. Yeah. But Cliff Kingsbury, I believe, was a quarterback for Ryan, and we might not have gotten the coach that Cliff Kingsbury is if not for the NFL European League.
Absolutely.
And, like, I like you. Well, no, I like talk shit.
I loved it,
and like make jokes. But like Cliff Kingsbury has really carved himself out a tremendous resume. Career resume. However you want to look. Like, he's an elite coach now, and that probably wouldn't have happened without the NFL European League.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. And when I was there, like Akili Smith was there.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Eric Crouch was there. I actually got suspended.
You and Eric Crouch? I loved Eric Crouch.
I got in a fight with Eric Crouch after a game and got suspended. So
was he a quarterback, or was he a quarterback, or was he like an athlete?
No, they moved him to safety.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
that's why he got in a fight with him.
That's why I got in a fight with him. Yes,
okay.
Yeah, because we ran a toss sweep, and I was backside, and I was just running down looking for someone to block, and I just drilled him and knocked the crap out of him and knocked him over. So going through the line, shaking hands, he had words with me, and he called me a part of the female anatomy that I didn't appreciate. That's what he called me, and he made reference to our women's basketball team. So the entire team both teams are taking knees, and they're doing the prayer. This is after the game. Eric Crouch comes up to me and blindsides me, drills me, punches me in the face as hard as he could, and I didn't go down.
I like him even more now.
Yeah, I went down. I went down to one knee,
right,
and then like two other guys came and they just started kicking the crap out of me. Now, meanwhile, all my teammates are praying, and I'm getting beat up, and I'm trying to fight my way out of it. And I ended up getting Crouch, and I slammed him. And then one of his teammates kicked me right in the mouth, and I had to get stitches on my lip. And so then the prayer apparently ended, and they broke the fight up. And I didn't get suspended. I got fined from NFL Europe. I got a letter from Roger Goodell saying that our behavior was inappropriate.
Rather. So we gonna talk about UConn, or are we just gonna reminisce about the NFL?
No, we are. Eric Crouch called me a pussy. That's it. So yeah.
Oh, well.
So yeah, we'll talk about UConn. I think they have an excellent opportunity this week against Wake Forest. 2-4. They're 2-4. Yeah. We are 4-2. And just looking at their numbers, I mean, they give up a lot of sacks. They've given up 16 sacks on the year, which I think is really big. Their quarterback play isn't great. They play Hank Backmeyer, who has 1,400 yards passing, 62.9% completion percentage, and 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But Tyler,
their only good thing is probably their quarterback.
But Tyler, I would argue our quarterback play has not been spectacular either.
I mean,
correct?
It really hasn't. They've been, the UConn's been playing. They've just been going with the hot hand, which they kind of should have at this point. The one thing you can say about them right now, you guys have talked at length about the Temple game, which Steve and I attended. That was really a signature win for them, and I think that was kind of like the breakthrough moment that the Moore era needed. But now they need a couple of these guys to step up. This is a very winnable game. It should really be a showcase type game, but this UConn team hasn't shown the consistency yet to be able to just go out and do what they're supposed to do. So I think this game's more about they really need to establish who the leaders are going to be. I would like to say establish, basically pick a guy or have one of the guys step up at the quarterback position to really solidify everything going forward, because they win this game, they're 1 win away from bowl eligibility. And none of us thought we'd be in this position right now at this point in the season. But I give them a very solid B minus overall with everything they've done with the personnel they have. And the point they're at right now. None of us expected this. And here we are.
Oh, yeah. Lined up really great. It's lined up great for UConn being 4-2. I think early in the year we probably thought Wake Forest was going to be a much better team, and they're at best an average team. And I don't think they have much of a defense, but like they got like a good quarterback and some good receivers. But they're not mind blowing. It's not like it's not like Maryland where these guys are going to run by our guys.
Good
Nothing
point.
like that. So,
good point.
But yeah, I think we're in a great position, like you pointed out, Tyler. Like really, really. I mean, we're in a position that if we beat Wake Forest here and be 5-2, like legitimately, we could run the table. Legitimately, like
yeah.
I don't think you would have ever thought that, And I tell you how quickly people forget about last year, which is good, by the way. My father to me goes
3-9.
He's like, Moore's doing a great job. He's like, last year he was in a bowl game. This year or 4-2. I said, I said, Dad, that was actually
2020 or 2021.
That's how quickly, what I'm saying, you start to win.
Yeah,
people forget that bad, last year's season really quickly. It
was a mirage.
They were in a bowl game. They were in a bowl game, which was actually 2 years ago. But I think they're in a position to be in a great position. I think they're going to beat Wake Forest.
Agreed.
And it took me a long time to get to that point. And I agree with Tyler that last week was a win that they in the past would have lost that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think like that was the signature win that Moore needed to kind of propel things forward. And I'll be honest, I was in a separate box from Steve. I was with several other alum in one of the boxes, and the mood was not good, especially going into that last drive when Temple just marched down the field. But
and 3 plays,
yeah. Oh yeah. But let me tell you, a goal. First off, it was a pretty historic, in my opinion, goal line stand. That was an amazing goal line stand. But then to put the exclamation point on it, force a turnover, run it back for a touchdown. Like, I haven't seen that kind of atmosphere in that stadium since I played there.
No, you're absolutely right,
and the attendance was not great, which, we've talked about that.
No, I mean, they got 30,000 in there, you think, don't they?
I mean,
the number was like 28. That's what they officially said 28. Like, I don't know what that exactly means. That might be tickets sold. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's better than what they've had.
Better than the years when there was literally. I would watch the game to see how few fans would actually show up. I'd be like, I'm curious how many. I'm curious if they could beat last week, be under 8,000. It was like a game of how bad we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're in position 28,000. That's on the rise. I mean, we win this game.
If you win, they will come.
There's no doubt. Agreed. Like when you guys played.
The bottom line is we have not seen this team play together healthy all season long. We've seen it in spurts, but we haven't seen like a full game of it. Evers goes down. The first game I won't count. The first game was a disaster. But he doesn't play against Merrimack. He comes back against Duke. Brings them back from 17-0, and they take the lead. He gets hurt, and he misses that, and then he misses the Temple game. Joe Figiano, I mean, watching him was painful at times. Even though he has 11 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year. Even though he broke the record for most touchdowns in a game, throwing 5, he's just
but they're playing good
he's
points,
limited.
But they were playing Merrimack.
I agree.
He broke Orlovsky's record, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I mean, who were we playing where Orlovsky was that the Wake Forest game where Orlovsky set that record?
No, I actually think it was either Kent State or Florida Atlantic where he set the record. Yeah. But the biggest thing is, like Dave and I have talked about, Tyler, I don't like the run game we have with Figiano in there, because we run what's called mid zone and outside zone out of a 2-back set. And I don't like that on the gun.
I agree with you on that. I think they should be looking to run more of an inside zone to an outside zone.
Correct.
Not so much out of the gun. I don't love it out of the gun.
I hate it more.
I like it more out of the pro set 1-back or the I formation. But but I'll tell you what, the one thing I've been very pleasantly surprised with is the play of the line. The line hasn't
the line has done well, yes.
That was one of those things where it was one of the big question marks coming into the year. We had some size, they
have good tackles. Yep.
Yeah.
And they've only given up 4 sacks on the year, which is incredible.
Amazing, right? So I've been very pleasantly surprised by the play of this offensive line. This is one of the things, I feel like Moore did a good job. Whereas, as opposed to when we play the college games, much more like a pro game now with transfer portal, he's brought in the right personnel. Moore has used his name and recruiting ability to really bring these quality players in.
Well,
so as it's much more the pro style game now, I kind of liken it to God rest his soul, Randy.
God rest his soul. He's not dead.
I know, but I mean his career is. What Coach Edsel did, in 99, 2000, 2001, he took risks on the guys with a lot of potential.
He developed players.
Exactly. Other schools were hemming and hawing on these guys like me, guys like Greg Smoot, got Mike Kodich comes to mind. A lot of guys on the line, Grant Preston comes to mind.
How about me?
I mean, you were graduated.
No,
I'll give you credit to guys like you. He's getting a lot of these players that aren't exactly the highest maximal upside, but guys that come in, play the role, and they develop into these almost all conference. Not that we're in a conference right now, but all conference caliber players,
road graders. Yeah,
a lot more of those gambles have paid off. Moore's vision and his evaluation of talent and obviously his recruiting ability have been a big factor in UConn turning this around.
And I'll also, you got to give credit. The main reason that this year has been different is because of Mike Burton and Bleeding Blue for Good. The fact that we have an NIL collective that's going out there, and we have Skylar Bell, we have TJ Sheffield, we have Nick Evers, we have Darrell Robinson.
Well, the thing about it is,
Edwards, we're paying these guys.
Not to cut you off, Steve, but the thing I was about to say is, I don't know if the donor pockets are as deep as it is in the Deep South and the SEC, but it's not like there's a lack of money in the state of Connecticut and a lack of donors that want to make a difference in this program. And one thing you said, a guy like Mike Burton, who's been instrumental to the rise of the UConn program. The money coming in now is being put in the right places, and we're getting the guys. So the results are actually finally starting to show.
Yeah, and
fingers crossed. Knock on wood. But I don't want to jinx anything. But it looks like things are finally headed in the right direction.
Nobody has done more with less than Mike Burton and Bleeding Blue with the money they're bringing in.
Again, like what you say with less, we're the state of Connecticut. It's probably the richest state in New England.
Well, yeah.
Some of the most money that's floating around there.
We're the wealthiest state in the country. We're the wealthiest state in the country. Yes.
Exactly. So it's not like there's a lack of money out there. It's just lots of credit to Mike Burton for going out and finding that money. Putting it to the use that needs to be put to.
But Dave, like Mike had said, the biggest thing is, he doesn't need he would love the $10,000 donations, but it's about getting more people to donate. Donate $100, donate $200, donate $500. We have the numbers. We have strength in numbers with our alumni, and our alumni are successful. I know Tommy Collins contributed quite a bit to this fund. And, the money that they raised this past year was really with 10 people. And if we can get more people to donate and donate regularly, like Mike said, if you can donate a couple $100 a month, if whatever you can give, that will get us to the point. Because I know he sat down with Jim Mora and he sat down with Benedict over the bye week, and they went over the budget. And Mike's basically like a general manager. He's like, what's it going to cost to retain the talent that we have and bring in people from the transfer portal, bring in the freshman talent. So, the budget is going to be really around $3 million, $5 million next year. That's what they're going to need to sustain this success, to get the players to keep playing the way they are and keep the players that we have. Dave, don't you think it'll be around that much? I know you're sleeping there, but
no, I'm not sleeping. I'm fully awake still. No, I think from a financial standpoint, if what's needed, I think the small donorships help, but ultimately, like if you're going to get different level players, there's going to be a larger financial investment.
Exactly.
Would not raise with all up. I mean, if every person gave $200, you would need a lot of people to give $200 to get.
Yeah, I know.
30,000. So that money helps absolutely, but the key I think is to keep getting some big donors, and do what we need to do, but also spend the money wisely. So we could develop.
Which I think they're doing.
I think that's an important thing because, you can look at Army and Navy who spend zero money on NIL, zero, right?
Right.
Undefeated. They have guys that are going to stay there for 4 years, and they're not going anywhere, and they're developing them. So obviously it's a different world, but I think there's a balance at the level that UCONN's currently at, between how much money you spend and trying to keep guys in for as long as possible. I can't say they'll all be there for 4 or 5 years, but as long as possible, right? I think that's the balance because it gives you time to develop them, and I think you'll get more success. So you're going to have those players that are in it for a couple of years. I get that, and then you got to have the backbone of guys that are hopefully going to be there for most of their time at UConn. I think that's going to give it the long-term success. You're always going to bring in some players that could do dynamic things and pay them money, but I think that's the overall key. And you see that in college football because the big boys, they can pay a lot of the players really big money. For the most part, they're playing at a different level from everybody else. But then there's the second group, that second tier, the group of 5.
Correct.
It's the ones that have spent and not had a plan on how they were spending, just trying to spend to get players. I don't think it's worked out the way that they've hoped.
No, Mike has organized it much better, but we still have separate collectives. And I think that the collectives have to work together. And that's the one great thing I believe Mike is doing. Mike is actively talking to Jim Moore. Mike is actively talking to David Benedict. Right. How much do we need? What are we going to need for next year? Putting a plan together financially of what he's going to have to raise, as opposed to other schools who just don't talk to the coaching staff and throw money at kids. We want this kid, we're going to pay him. And, Mike does it the right way. They've never missed a payment. Every kid is under contract, which I think is very important. I wish that the contracts were multi-year, that, maybe he could do 2-year contracts instead of the 1-year contracts, just to give you some stability. That's the thing that worries me the most, because, someone like Skylar Bell is having a great season. And, I'm looking at his numbers now, 22 catches, 508 yards. He's averaging 23.1 yards a catch, and he's scored 4 touchdowns. You're telling me someone in the ACC, someone from the Big 10, Big 12 isn't going to want to steal Skylar Bell? How much is it going to cost to retain him?
Right.
We're whether we're paying.
That's going to be a hard thing. So that's going to think that I don't think you're going to. I think in personnel they're going to have. Here are guys. If we lose some players, here's the guys that probably going in the portal or are in the portal that we can replace them with. So I think they kind of most of these personnel departments have to have some sort of beat on that, or this is the type of player we're looking for. If this type of player enters the portal, when the portal opens, we got to grab them if we lose a player. So I think that's the one thing that's good about a portal. You lose a player, if some player.
Well, I think that the biggest thing, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, the transfer portal right now there's 2 times you can do it. It's after the season and then in the spring. And I think that doing it in the spring is where teams are getting into trouble, because if they have a bunch of transfers that leave in the spring, those spots are very, very difficult to fill. And if the NCAA passes the rule that there's going to be only one transfer period and it's going to be in December, I think things will run much, much smoother.
I tend to agree with you. I don't know who's negotiating for the collective. Do the players have a union, a collective bargaining agreement?
No, Mike makes sure that they have representation before they sign anything. He makes sure that they have a lawyer, and Mike and coach sit down and they go over the paperwork of what's required for each kid, which I think is important. But no, there is no, we could do a whole other podcast on that about a union. And eventually, Dave, don't you think they're going to have to go to a union? Like college football players altogether are going to have to unionize, not just teams.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a union or not, but there'll be employees at some point. That I definitely think. Whether they
they are. Yeah,
probably going to union. See, I don't know if they're going to be able to unionize as a collective.
Can you explain to me what that means? I don't even know what that means. What would it mean if college football players decided that they wanted to unionize? They wanted to collectively bargain together, all the kids from every school.
So basically what would happen, like the NFL, like you create, when you create a union, you basically say all of us are going to have
one person represent each team.
Or a group of people representing us that make sure that everybody, no matter what team they're on, has certain terms that every team has to agree to.
That's the honor, right? Like health insurance, or
that's a good example. Health insurance,
money,
what that is,
a minimum salary, or whatever.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And then all the players
so it'd take a lot of moving parts.
Dues, right? So they have to pay dues. So
union dues.
These are some of the things that are issues
correct
for a collective, not collective, union.
For a union.
For college kids, is that like, what if you're not getting really any money, right? Like, why would you want to pay the dues to be in the union? It's very different. Like the NFL, everybody
with basketball did. Remember,
when you make the roster, you immediately start paying union dues, right? You're in the union.
Because Tyler did, right?
Yeah. Like I was going to jump in. Like like the thing is, it's standardized across the board. So every single player, whether you're making
practice squad or not, right?
Whether you're practice squad, league minimum, or you're on a max contract, everyone's paying the same amount. And for a guy like me, who is both a minimum guy and a practice squad player, I would feel it when I'd get a check and there'd be, a couple grand missing. Like, I would feel that. Other guys aren't really
out of every check.
Not every check, but several times a year.
Oh wow! So it's not based on how much you make; it's everyone across the board
standardized. So I think something would have to be done as far as I think it'd be a better way to do it, where you would take it out of like the NIL collective, so it's not really affecting players individually. Because like an example you said, like Skylar Bell, should he be paying more than a guy that is true freshman or a true freshman just getting a true freshman who's just going to be a practice player all year because he's being redshirted? He's paying the same amount as far as quote union dues as a guy like Skylar Bell. Like, I don't think that's really fair, but you have to make sure you're able to fund these programs, and especially this program, the NIL program, through what the players are making. So and it benefits them all, because at the end of the day, they're all getting paid now, which I think is a great thing.
They're not all getting paid, but
the vast majority of them are getting paid.
Not at UConn. Not at UConn. UConn
again, but that kind of brings up the same point where, if a guy's not contributing as much, should he have to pay as much? And if a guy's kind of carrying everything, should he pay more? I
hear what you're saying.
I don't know if there's some sort of sliding scale here, but back in the day in the NFL, I was paying the same amount. Like, I'm playing on the Cardinals, and you have me paying the same amount of union dues as a guy like Anquan Boulder or
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart. Like, that's right. Is that really fair?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Dave, do you think that there's probably no way that the entire kids in the NCAA could collectively bargain together? They would probably have to do it school by school, right? Especially because the rules are different state by state.
Say that again. State by state. So that's a good question. So that's a good question.
They would have to do it school by school. Like, they wouldn't be able to collectively bargain together.
Well, you could. Look, I mean, obviously the NFL does. These guys are playing different states.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The issue, Tyler brought up a great point. There would have to be some sort of scaling of dues, which is not really a huge deal. You would scale it based off of you know what I mean? I'm just getting it.
Who's paying? Who's doing the most?
So I think you have to scale the dues based on who's making what. And I think that's the overall issue. And I don't know, I don't know if there's an expense state law wise, like what the dues that get collected. Would guys that are lower want to pay that? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, of course. They're not.
Yeah, if you look at it, like, let's look at a regular union, right? Guys are being paid different amounts, but they all pay the dues. I don't know if that's a flat amount or not.
Okay.
But the Teamsters or the
longshoremen.
Yep, exactly. They're all paid different amounts, but they're paying some sort of dues. I just don't know
if it's all the same or sliding scale.
I don't know if it's all the same.
And what's going to happen? We're going to actually do a podcast on this probably Thursday, but the rosters are going to 105, and it's all going to be scholarship players, and that's going to be the max roster.
To 105.
Yeah, it's dropping, but it's all scholarship. So
if they want to do
it, if they want to, correct.
UConn's not going to do that.
I don't think UConn can fund 105 scholarships.
Not right now.
I mean, I think that Steve, they could afford it, but
are
they going to do it?
I don't think they do it.
It's not like we're Alabama or Georgia, where we have this like we said, UConn's public school. We're also Connecticut's the wealthiest state in the union, but you look at like Union, the United States of America. State.
Okay.
But you look at a team like Alabama, Miami, Georgia, teams like that. They have a giant pool of both alumni network and donors. That just pool of money is just going to be bigger.
Right.
So they're going to be able to throw more money at it, whereas the motivation in the state of Connecticut isn't really there yet. Especially with over the past decade, the struggles the team has had. Now that they're back on the upswing, things might change.
You'll be able to get.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see an upswing in donations. We'll see an upswing in attendance. But again, the team's got to keep maintaining this level of success, and in order to do that, we need the money. We need to be able to pay these guys, and we need to be able to. Like you're talking about the 105 scholarships for a team like Alabama. It's not really
no problem.
No problem to fund that. But we have to look at it from the perspective of will the state, will the administration want to fund that, want to stick their neck out that way, and will Mike Burton's done a great job, but I don't think he has the pool of resources, a giant alumni network that's just looking at like 50 to 100 years, like Alabama, that just has a giant slush fund of money to throw at these guys.
Yeah, his NIL collective wouldn't be a part of the whole scholarship thing. That would be done through the school.
But again, that's kind of secondary. If the school gives us a green light, great. But will the state?
I agree. I don't think they will. No, I don't think they're going to want to spend more money on football until that's why this year is crucial and next year is crucial. If we win 8 games this year, 8 games next year, we get into the Big 12 or the ACC, then the state may fund the 105 scholarships. But overall, we're going to talk about it on the podcast. I'm going to have Jeff Larson on, Pete Finch, and I'm having someone else. Just the elimination of walk-ons, and that's going to be horrible. I think.
Right. That's good. Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about.
I mean, I tend to agree with you just because, during our time, excuse me.
Mike McIntosh is the other one who's going to come on because he earned a scholarship.
Exactly. That's actually a great point.
That's a great story.
Guys like Mike McIntosh, guys who just grounded out for 2 and 3 years, earned their scholarship, and were just great contributors throughout their college football career. That's
you're going to lose it.
That's an element of this situation that we're not really taking into account. But then again, when this much money gets involved and the rules and regulations have loosened so heavily,
billions of dollars,
exactly, it becomes a totally different thing.
Yeah. Dave, do you think realistically next season that we can raise $3 to $5 million for the collective for Bleeding Blue? Do you think that's realistic? If we get, more donors and bigger donors?
Yeah, it absolutely is if you get the right donors. I mean, it's what I'm curious about is what gets you there financially? Meaning, if someone was to give $100,000, what financial
what do you get out of it? Yeah.
That's a whole different. I mean, I'm sure they give them a farm, if they can.
Well, yeah, sure.
But or at least try to get the university to give them a farm. But if let's say someone donates $100,000, what is the financial resources that someone has to have in order to give $100,000 without it being hamstringing them, right? So So I don't know if Mike's done this or not, but he probably has a good idea of what net worth each individual has to have in order to get a certain level of contribution, right?
He does. Yep.
And then you have to target those people, like literally target those people. So I have no idea what that number is. Like, if someone could donate $100,000, does their net worth have to be like 10 million? You know what I mean? Which maybe sounds about right. Like what?
Well, the guy you talked about, Matt DeGennaro, you said he's well off, and we don't know
if he owns a company. I don't know. I don't know the exact level of success, but he's successful.
But he could be someone who could donate a decent amount. And
maybe. I don't know. It really depends.
And there's people that don't know about it either.
Yeah.
Remember, because someone owns a company, there are different levels of success. There's small businesses. There's ones that are wildly successful. There are corporations. So the question is, I think they need to, it's a good thing for you to speak to Mike about. Come up with like a system that says, hey, if you're donating,
I'm going to see him Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have X net worth, it makes sense for you to think about this donation. Okay,
kind of like how they do in college when they put financial aid. Yeah,
here's the benefits of it, tax write-off wise. Here's what we can
correct.
Give you. So, but knowing what that is, right? Because if let's say you asked a business owner for $10,000. And maybe he's bringing in $1 million in revenue, but maybe his costs are close to that. Maybe his margins are only 20%. So even though he's bringing in $1 million in revenue, if his margins are 20%, he's got $200,000 there that he either has to reinvest in his company, take for himself. So it's going to be hard. They may not be willing to give $10,000, even if a guy has $1 million business. Now, if he has a $10 million business and a 20% margin, that's a different. Now you might be able to get a lot more. You might be able to get 50 to 100. So those are things that are important for, I think, potential NIL investors to understand, because you want them to invest what they can invest without it hamstringing them, because there's no. Unlike when you invest in a business, like if Tyler was running a business, I loved his training business, and I said, I wanted to give $5,000 to Tyler to help him grow.
Yeah, right.
I would have some expectation of
a return
on investment. Yeah.
NIL, you're not getting any real financial investment. You're donating,
just winning on the field. That's what you're getting.
Steve,
your return is winning.
Steve, you just took the words out of my mouth. Like winning on the field. We're talking about return on that, like return on investment.
Yeah.
I'll add something else to that. Results on the field as far as wins and losses. That's the biggest return on investment. Secondly, is if the money's put up for one of these players, and you have some guys, and you look at like the NFL draft. Guys that get drafted in the top 10, top 15, and they're getting just these giant signing bonuses, then they're a giant flop, then the return on investment isn't there. But we give a guy 6 figures in an NIL deal, and he goes out and he's an all-conference player, all-American, etc. There's your return on investment. So you don't really see the results until you're not halfway through the season.
Yeah, you're not going to see it.
The return on investment is the player success, right?
Yes.
The guy who's investing, they have to have a certain amount of perks put together. So because they're not actually going to make, like, I don't know, you're not going to double. If I give $100,000, I'm not going to get another $100,000 like I would get back if I was investing in a business, right? So I'd like to know, okay, like what are the perks, right? So those guys, I don't know, do they get VIP 50-yard line seats? What
comes with it?
They do. But overall, that has to be coordinated, I think, in the long run, between the collective and the university and what they could give these guys. So they say, you know what, that's cool. I'm going to give money. It goes to this player. And oh, by the way, I'm on the field. Oh, by
they
the way,
get on, exactly.
I have a booth. I have a booth access. Oh, by the way, I get to go to dinner with the player. Once in a while, the guy I'm paying for. And I think Mike does that already. But
he does.
Other investors, right?
Correct.
So I think that you have to begin to do that. Mike is doing that with the group he has, but I think overall they're going to have to figure out with the university. The university has to say, "Hey, man, we're going just like they would with their own trustees that give a library, like $1 million for a library, right? I'm sure those guys get great perks, right?
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can liken this to what I do with Crown Sports. When I'm approaching
exactly
a business owner with as far as sponsorship for a fighter, one thing I try to do is, okay, this will be return on investment. Your logo will be seen by X amount of people. Like if I have a fighter fighting, just say Cage Titan, and it's a local business. It's easy for me to say, well, Cage Titans, they'll be there. They have over 100,000 followers on their social media. You'll get that exposure to the social media. Then they're broadcast on Spectation Sports, a worldwide platform. So let's say you have a mail order company, your name will get out there, like Steve, like we were talking about with the Builders Lab,
with Ryan Greff,
exactly. So it's easy for me to present as a return on investment.
You talked with him, right?
I think we've emailed once or twice, but it's easy for me to present it as, okay, you're on this platform. You'll be seen by X amount of people, including hobbyists that just train for well-being and for the mental wellness of it, and guys that are willing to compete, amateurs that are coming up. You'll get people in the state of Connecticut. You'll get people wanting to buy your products because they see these athletes have success in using your products. And this person had knee surgery 3 years ago. They want to use your CBD cream. They want to learn about. There's local to the stores area. They didn't know you were there. Now they do. They'll come in and use your facilities. Come in and buy meals from you. Buy supplements from you. It's easy to present that return on investment. When you're looking at a donor of the program or an NIL collective, it's a little harder to present what will be your physical return on investment. And again, the other subset you'll have there, especially with donors and in my industry, with people that are fans of the sport of mixed martial arts, they think it's cool and they like having their name and their company associated with that. And they have the disposable income to basically just invest it because they think it's cool. But that's not the real world for a lot of people. So you have to be able to show a physical return on investment. So
you're right.
It'd probably be something where, okay, you're part of this NIL collective, your name keeps coming up here, here, and here. That will motivate potential customers to invest in your product and buy your product or your service, as opposed to another one that might be a little more nationally well known or a little bit easier price point.
No, you're 100% right. And you're really investing in. There's nothing tangible other than the players performing well and the team winning. That's all that's tangible in the investment. And
to a degree, but with that being said, if the team wins, that trickle down effect of being associated with the program.
Absolutely.
Have your name attached to player X or player Y, that will raise your profile as a business, as a product, etc. So
100%.
It's a little more of a slow it's a little bit of a gamble for a lot of these smaller businesses investing. And B, again, it takes a little time to see what kind of success the player and the program will have going forward. Like we have a winning record. We win a bowl this year. We end up joining the Big 12 next year. That will be a more of a tangible illustration of what these collectives and what that donation is doing for the program and for these businesses.
All right. I agree with you. So here is my proposal, Dave, for the rest of the 6 games. This is my proposal. We do our score predictions, and whoever's the closest wins. Whoever loses has to donate $100 to Bleeding Blue for Good. What do you think about that?
I already donated to Bleeding Blue for Good.
I already did too, but I'm saying we'll do it every week. Since I win mostly, and I predict the best. We'll do the predictions.
At least, well, I mean, Steve.
Whoever's the closest wins. Whoever does not win has to donate $100 to Bleeding Blue.
Nah, I'm not in for that.
You're not. You're not. $50. Yeah, dude, $50 to Bleeding Blue.
Hey, I'm down.
Okay.
You want to do? You got to do $100. I don't even think you can do 50.
You can do $50. Whoa. If I lose, we got 5 people left.
Steve, you're the one that's been saying we're not looking for the big donations. They want those $50 donations.
That's what Mike said. I'm just telling you what Mike said. Yes, okay. You're right.
Yes, I know, Steve. I know I'm right.
All right. All right.
Again, I like to. I like to gamble, so I'm down.
I know you're down to gamble. Wake Forest at UConn. That is my proposal for the rest of the year, for the last 6 games. The whoever wins. Whoever loses donates $100 to Bleeding Blue.
There's no motivation to win except not donating. So.
Let me take a look. I just want to see. I know they're 2-4.
2-4. Not great defense.
They beat North Carolina A&T and they beat NC State. Syracuse beat NC State. They lost to Virginia, who's awful. They got smoked by Ole Miss. They lost to Louisiana, and they lost to Clemson. Okay. All right. I'm going to pray that Nick Evers is healthy. Nick Evers is healthy. Okay. I'm going 35-17.
35-17.
35-17 is what I'm going.
Okay. And who goes next?
Tyler, you get to go next. Let me just see. Let me see what the spread is first.
I think I won last week in between all of us, right?
You did win, yes. I did donate. I donated.
Steve? What's the spread and what's the over?
I'm checking.
In UConn's favor.
I'm checking right now.
UConn's favored by 2.
Well, some have it at 1.5. Yeah, it's 1.5 to 2.5.
What's the over?
The over is, according to ESPN, is 57.5.
Okay, all right.
The over is 57.5.
I will go. I think it's going to be something along the lines of. I want to say. I think you can score between 33 and 38 points. I'll say UConn 38, Wake Forest 24.
Okay. All right. That's different than mine. That's right around mine. Okay. The matchup prediction has UConn a 72% chance of winning.
Yeah.
And the spread is anywhere between 1, 1.5, and 2.5.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think part of that is
they'll cover.
I think they'll cover. I think one of the reasons the handicappers are looking at it this way, was a couple of times against Temple. UConn had that game in hand, and they really
they did.
They shot themselves in the foot so many times.
Tyler, I know.
They still found a way to prevail. So I think that's where a lot of this with the over and the spread comes from.
Tyler, I wanted to run down and punch Joe Figiano in the face. That's how mad I was. He missed 2 open touchdowns. He had 3 turnovers. If he's playing, then we're going to be in for a barn burner. If Evers is back and everyone's healthy, Cam Edwards is healthy, then I think that they should win this one pretty easily.
Like I think that
defensively we're a force.
Yeah, I think with the Wake Forest game, the Temple game, that it was really their breakthrough win.
No, it was. They showed
that was kind of like their signature win so far. So maybe that switch we flipped, and they'll have more of that play every down, a little bit more of that killer instinct. That's the one thing I think kind of was missing. And I think they may have found that. So if they found that, and the mentality of this team represents the way they played in that goal line stand, that the rest of the season will be a much more smooth sailing scenario.
At worst, they should be 3-3 the rest of the way. But I think 4-2 is very reasonable.
That would be deemed a success. But again, this is college football. The goalposts, for lack of a better term, goalposts are forever moving.
Yep.
So they've kind of set a new standard. And now
I
we
think
have to
8 wins
see
is possible.
if they can live up to that standard. And
absolutely.
As far as conference admission, the rest of the season is critical. I would really love to see them.
It is.
Like, if they run the table, I expect to see them in the Big 12 next year. But
that's entirely possible. That's entirely possible.
I wanted to pose a question more to Dave because he'll have better hands on this, but obviously to both of you. Say UConn runs the table, say they have 1 loss, rest of the way they go 5-1 rest of the way. As independent, will they get invited to a bowl?
Well, yes, they'll get invited to a bowl for sure. What kind of bowl?
Good question.
No, they went to a bowl with 6-6. I mean, because not all teams from conferences qualify for bowl games, so they'll get invited to a bowl. It just depends if they're rolling in with 9 wins, 9-3, 10-2, then they could go to a New Year's Day bowl. I know the schedule's weak, but they could very easily go to a New Year's Day bowl or a late December bowl. I do believe that. So, Dave, you are the last on the prediction.
I think 28-24 UConn.
Wow, you think it's going to be that close?
Dave, that's a great. Well, Dave, that's great. I feel like that's a great prediction.
I always pick them by a mile, so
it comes down to if they play up to their potential. It really does.
That's it. I think if they win 28-24, though, by the way, they're 100% playing to their potential. You know what I mean? So I just think that. I think you have to overcome. Listen, I could be, we're all guessing, but I think that you have to overcome the mental fight of playing an ACC team. I don't think there's. I think it has zero to do with ability. I think they have the ability to kill this team, but
right.
They're gonna have to fight like they do even with Temple. Like they had to this will be.
It was a dogfight.
They're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to fight to win this game. And I think they will. And I think this team is different. And I think they'll fight and I think they'll get it done. But I think it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I hope it's not a battle, but absolutely, it could be a battle.
I think you should have to sing a song, Steve, on your Instagram.
I will sing a song.
He will. You don't want to that's like giving Steve such an incentive to win here because he loves to sing. So
I have the voice of an angel. I have the voice of an angel.
Clearly.
Tyler's mocking my voice. I do have the voice of an angel, Tyler. Fuck you.
Clearly.
He said. So
I love it.
Yes, that will be the test. So this has been another spirited Husky huddle, and well, it's always great. Anytime Tyler
King is right here, this is the dream team.
Anytime Tyler King is involved, Tyler King equals ratings. Tyler King equals viewership. That's what he does. He equals viewership.
Valid.
You can't argue that. He equals viewership. So that's what we'll go with. And then Tyler, I gotta find a day with you. I know you're busy Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever time you have to do the MMA show.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking Thursday, but
you think you can do it Thursday?
Okay. Yeah, probably. We have plenty to talk about. We have PFL coming up.
I know.
We have UFC is at 308 coming up. So,
are you gonna watch? I want to watch the PFL show this weekend. It's Saturday night.
I am excited just to watch Francis. I am so excited to watch Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou is going to take. I mean, he's going to.
You think he's going to really just dominate this, even with the layoff that he's had?
What do you mean the layoff? He's been boxing. He's been boxing literally the best boxers.
No, I know. You're right. Tyson Fury. You're right.
He's going to take a dump on this dude.
And Josh Joyce can take a dump.
He's going to take a dump. Like it's not. It's not.
See what I'm dealing with, Dave? You see what I'm dealing with? I'm going to take a dump.
It's not going to be close. Francis is going to knock him out, most likely.
And then he's going to knock him out in the first round. Then he's going to pull down his pants and he's going to take a dump on him. That's what your prediction.
I mean, I'm just being.
He's going to take a hot steaming shit.
Exactly. I mean, I figured it poop, but like again, it's a figure of speech, Steve. I really don't think Francis Ngannou is going to literally pull his trunks down and defecate on another fighter, but like figuratively, his opponent is not on his level.
I mean, if it were me and I won, I would shit in my hand in the octagon and throw it into the crowd. That's what I would do.
You know what's really funny, Steve? Every time I've had something in my head about what I'm going to do, as far as like after I beat this guy, I'm going to do X.
Yes.
Every time that's happened, like I just haven't really done it because you get through it. It's a different experience.
Yeah. Like, you come back to earth. I know.
Not even come back to earth. Like you just kind of realize. I've
been there before.
Probably wouldn't be the best look if I did this. I've been fully justified. I've been fully justified a few times to throw some antics out there. Most of the time, I don't.
Yeah, no, you hold back. Tyler does hold back.
It is. I'm watching MMA so much. It's so. I'd love to talk about. It's kind of like
come on the show with us.
Like wrestling. It's kind of like. But a different level. But it's like wrestling where, as a wrestler, you kind of have an idea of what you want to get done.
Well, I'm a WWE. Exactly. We're both WWE.
No, I'm not talking about WWE.
He's talking about real wrestling, Steve. He's talking about NCAA wrestling. World level wrestling.
So you have an idea of what you want to get done, and then obviously the opponent has an idea of what they want to get done, and that's a different idea, right? And and then you go and battle, and then it basically a lot of times plans change. You better have your contingency plan, right? So
things evolve, just like football. Things evolve, and then you see the openings.
Then Dave, you should come on the MMA show with us. You're welcome to come on.
I mean,
when we schedule it, you can come on. Yeah, it'll be fun. And then we'll have you on that. That'll be a fun show. Tyler offers expert analysis and makes funny noises when he doesn't like fighters, and calls fighters out for being soft.
Being soft, being PED abusers, etc., and so forth.
Yes.
Oh,
He loves Holly Holmes. He loves Holly Holm. Hates Ronda Rousey.
Is PE?
PEDs.
PEDs a huge problem in
MMA, UFC.
Yeah.
They change.
It's one of the dirtiest sports there. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the dirtiest sport there is. But
UFC USADA, that was the big issue.
Well, UFC fired USADA because USADA was just getting way too big for their britches, waking guys up like 3 days in a row, 5 in the morning, piss in a cup and give blood. So and administratively, they were just. Oh yeah, 100%.
They would come at like 3 a.m. for the drug test.
Most of the, like 6 a.m. Most of
like the Olympics, 6 a.m. Right? Like the Olympics?
Exactly. Random drug testing.
I didn't know that. And Tyler also thinks John Jones is the greatest fighter ever. So
I mean, he is.
John Jones is great.
Yeah, but he's probably going to lose.
Well, I mean, you look at it right now. Right now, the guy that has a real claim to being one of the GOATs is Alex Pereira. He's just taken the UFC by storm.
Pentagon
won 2 titles.
Pentagon. What's his name? Pentagon.
Alex Poatan Pereira.
Poatan. Yeah. Poatan. Yes, he is the next big thing. I agree. He is incredible to watch. Like he's on a different level. He's on a different level. But yeah, we'll schedule the MMA show, Dave, so you can talk more of it. And
phenomenal.
We will end the Husky Huddle, and you can send it to me, and then I'll find out if I'm actually talking to John McEntee or not, or getting scammed.
Well, I could tell you something really interesting.
Steve, you're getting scammed.
Yeah, Steve, guess what? You know how I got my Twitter got stolen?
Yeah.
I'm back in.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've outwitted the hackers.
Awesome. So you got the email back and you were able to change the password?
It's under review. Hopefully this all gets approved.
Okay. And then I got to find out if
it's still under the name that was stolen. They put some new name. It was called Memes Portals.
How many followers did you have on your Twitter?
586,000.
Holy crap. Okay. So you have to get it back. That's why Tyler, that's why we're trying to get paid. We got representation now. We're gonna get some big time sponsors and actually get paid because Dave's got the viewership on his channel and we're providing the content to help out.
We are providing cutting edge expert content.
Well, I don't know if it's that, but Dave is amused by it.
I do.
We're adding some we're adding some content. We're Abbott and Costello of YouTube.
I'll tell you this: like the content we add is great, dude, and the commentary is
it's better than Barstool. I know it's huge. I saw the numbers compared to some of the other people that get money, and it drove me nuts.
Yeah, so we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I know we'll get there. John's going to take care of us.
We're the new kids on the block.
Listen, John's going to take care of us.
My YouTube the page went from last year in
I saw
December. It was 50,000 subscribers around there. It's now 930,000 subscribers, or just about.
Yes.
So that's even though I've been around for 20 years or 15 years. That page, it wasn't until the last 10 months that it took off, where there's like insane value there, right? So that'll take a little bit of time for everybody to realize this is like one of the fastest growing literally in all of sports, you know what I mean? So that takes a little bit of catch up.
And
once it catches up and once everyone really starts understand, which people do already, I mean they do, It's just,
once you added my content, you increased 100,000 and something viewers too. Remember that you were like 805, and now you're at 912, and it's all
exactly. The whole key is
it's all because of me.
Is content, dude. Content.
All because of you. All because of you, Steve.
I know.
How much did your viewership jump? I got on board.
Tyler, your viewership has always increased on the radio and on Spotify. You have always increased. So yes, but you are welcome. But yes, we will. Dave, I will set up a call if you want to talk with John and his team tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
All right, I'll set it up, and then we'll have a conference call with him, and I will do our nice close for Tyler King. All he does is train, teach, and kick ass, beat ass. Also, the Motor City Bowl MVP.
Did you say beat ass or eat ass?
No, he eats ass too, but he beats it. He eats it and beats it. Eats and beats. And then he's
not necessarily in that order.
Motor City Bowl defensive MVP. I have a picture with him with the trophy. He let me hold it so I could feel special. Why are you frozen? Because you're just frozen in time. And then Dave Schuman, the content creator. He is the king of YouTube with 1 million followers. Yeah, you're the king of YouTube, of 1 million followers and 800 million views per month he gets. And I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.